Mulher confessa sem saber que estava sendo filmada.
So that was your plan. So you would dissolve 7 halcyons in alcohol.
But instead of putting
Right.
2 shots in a cup of vodka, she fills the whole thing up with soda and all this other stuff.
Right, made like a real drink.
Yeah, and she hands it to him. So he took enough to knock him for a loop, really knock him for a loop. But this is very hard for me, Anthony.
I know.
I've never told anybody this.
I guess not.
And obviously, I would
you
deny it if you ever told anybody.
Why would I tell somebody? What good is it going to do? You said the body's cremated.
Yes, it's cremated.
Your father's cremated.
We've already been through an investigation. The police.
Who investigated?
The police were there.
The police of where?
Well, so let me tell you. He lay down on the couch.
Wait, this was 7 years ago?
4.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
You killed your father 4 years ago.
Do you have to say it like that?
Well, but
and
that's...
don't just say it to me, because it was my sister, too.
And Mary-Beth.
Correct. We euthanized him. We didn't kill him.
Well, euthanasia is not legal.
Well, it is, because hospice does it all the time. They give you the lethal dose of morphine. I've seen it. I've done it myself.
So you think that if you take it upon yourself that your father is suffering and no medical... But he was at home. He wasn't taken to the hospital. You think it's upon your... Look, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. But did you really think it was upon yourself to decide whether he should be euthanized? I mean, they arrested that Jack Kevorkian guy.
He didn't want to go to the place that this beautiful place that he was going to go live in. Have his own little apartment.
He didn't want to go.
He didn't want. He refused to go.
But you told me, I asked you in the beginning of this if he asked for euthanasia, and you said no.
Well, in his will, he had a DNR, but he didn't. You don't ask for euthanasia.
Well, you do if you want it. That's why they bring in that Jack Kevorkian guy to help them. But what I'm trying to say is, the very first thing I asked you when this conversation started is like, you euthanized your father. You said yes. And I said, did he ask for euthanasia? And you said, no.
We made the decision, okay?
Right, you and Mary-Beth made the decision.
Yes.
Your sister and you decided that euthanasia was the best thing for him?
Yes, because medically wise, I knew with a big giant mass in his lung that he had maybe months to live, and he had lost his mind. Maybe it was wrong. Why do you think I battle every day with it? So anyway, he went to sleep.
Okay.
We thought he was
dead. And he wasn't.
He opened his eyes.
He opened his eyes.
And he looked at us.
He looked at you.
And I said, now what do we do?
You asked her now what to do?
I said, what do we do now?
So then what?
I don't know if I can even tell the rest of it.
You put a pillow over his face.
Yeah, we did. Not a pillow, but we did. And just breathing, yes.
By pinching his nose? Did you pinch your father's nose? How did you do it?
Can't talk anymore.
What do you mean you can't talk? You already told me. This is the only way to get it off your chest. You've never told anybody. You might as well finish. So I know, and you know, that the truth has been told. Did you pinch his nose and hold his mouth? I mean, that's very personal. That's probably why you're having problems right now, mental problems. Which you do, by the way. You realize you can't tell a therapist this, right?
No, I can't tell a therapist, and we can't tell anybody.
Can't tell anybody.
Well, anyway, there's no proof of it. He's cremated, he's gone. These ashes, there's no evidence.
There's evidence if you admitted it, if you walked into the police and admitted you did that, there would be evidence. What if she does? What if she goes crazy? Your sister, Mary-Beth, is crazy. What if she goes crazy one day and walks in and admits it?
I just deny it.
You would just deny it. And you think that
stand there and admit that I killed my father? Not me, but we did.
Who pinched his nose?
She did.
And did you hold his mouth?
I put a washcloth in it.
You put a washcloth in his mouth? How can you live with yourself?
It's hard, Anthony. It's very hard.
But he was alive and you ended his life.
I know I did.
We
did.
Did you guys discuss money before you did this? How you could inherit?
No.
It had nothing to do with money?
Nothing to do with money. It had to
Are
do
you
with
sure?
what we were living with. What we saw, and the doctor had just told me, your father has a massive cancerous, his whole lung is full of cancer. He may have 2 months left to live.
But there's been miracles in the past.
Okay, so what do you want me to do now? Go confess to the police?
I didn't say to do that. Only you know what will set you free.
Nothing will set me free.
You can't decide that a miracle of modern medicine couldn't have saved him and cleared his cancer out.
Never. Never in a million years.
You can't decide that.
The doctor said it. He told.
You know you can't end a life. You know it's murder.
Yes, I do.
That's murder. Look at you, little innocent you, and you've actually murdered a person in this world, and your own father to boot. I've never murdered a person, and I'm dangerous. I'm a dangerous individual. People start fights with me, and I don't just wrestle with them. I pound them into oblivion, and I've never murdered anybody. I can't believe it. I've even wanted to in the past. I've even thought...
Then why do you think now what are you going to do?
What do you mean?
That I've told you.
I can't believe that you murdered.
Not me. Me and my sister.
I can't believe that you...
Don't put it just on me. We made the decision together as a pact.
She's a dumbass. You're the ringleader. You know that. The first person to think, let's just euthanize him, was you. You know that. And she agreed.
No, it really wasn't.
And she agreed.
No, that's not true.
Oh, you both said it at the same time? You went
Actually,
1, 2, 3, let's euthanize.
We both decided at the same time because actually, you don't know my sister. My sister has a temper 10 times worse than I do. You don't know my heart.
But why did she have a temper? Why was this ending his life anything to do with a temper? She was mad at him?
Yes, they had terrible arguments because he didn't want to go into Brookfield.
So she was mad at him when she murdered him?
Yeah, she was mad at him.
So that really is murder.
I talked to the doctor and I knew he was dying. But him and her had been fighting since Shirley died.
Who's Shirley?
The person he was with 20 years.
Shirley Tomaselli?
No, Shirley Shannon. He never married her.
Shirley Shannon?
He never married her.
Shirley Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
She never took his name?
They're not married.
Okay, so...
He lived with her for 20 years.
But here's the thing. You knew that he was going to die. Well, you say you knew he was going to die, but you don't really know. You heard from a doctor that he was going to die. Did you ever hear of a misdiagnosis? Did you ever hear that? Please tell me you've been in the medical profession. Have you ever heard of a doctor amputating the wrong leg?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard him saying, I'm sorry to tell you this, your father's got
What are you trying to do? Make me feel... What do you want me
I'm
to
just
do?
saying, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off that you murdered your own father. And you said he was the greatest guy ever.
He was. That's why we did it because we
No,
loved
you
him.
said Mary-Beth was actually mad at him, so she was angry and she had a temper. She was happy to murder him for different reasons. True?
I wanted to put him out of his misery.
But she was mad at him. True?
Yeah, she was mad at him.
So it could be said that she did it with malice. You know what I mean? In a way. So maybe she's more to blame. Like she was mad and she's like, let's just kill him. I'm sick of his ass.
We didn't use the word kill.
Let's euthanize him.
We used the word put him out of his misery.
But she was mad at him. You just admitted it. You said, you don't know my sister. She's got a temper 10 times mine. And they were fighting and she was happy to pinch his nose.
I don't know if she was happy, but at the time, that was the only thing we could do at this point. See, you don't know, if this ever got out and my family found out.
I'm not telling your family. What the fuck is that going to do? It's not going to bring him back.
Bring him back? Are you kidding me?
Right.
They would probably try to put us in jail.
Well, they will put you in jail for murder. I don't even think there's a statute of limitations on murder. And forget about a cremated body. That's not going to matter. If Mary-Beth tells them she pinched his nose and you put a rag in his mouth, that's enough.
Well, we're not going to say that. So now you can hate me even more.
I don't hate you. I pity you. How can you? I could never. I just couldn't imagine.
Well, you didn't see my father.
Okay, so you saw him and he was, but it's not your place. I still can't get over it. And you're saying that Mary-Beth had a mean streak in her, and I do see that in her. So whoever mentioned about the doctor saying there's a mass and he might die, again, it could have been a misdiagnosis though. Call you up. Guess what? We found him.
It wasn't, because he couldn't breathe.
I'm saying, what if the doctor saw a mass